Welcome back to Dad Puzzles podcast, guys. Today we have a very special guest. Um, I'll let him talk more about himself. It's someone that I followed, and he's respected and learned from not just where he has mastered the LinkedIn strategy, but for how he has redefined visibility in the digital age. So this is very important and it's very it's something that we can all really use it and Nathanial Bibby, he's a global keynote speaker, award-winning digital strategist, and the creator of viral content that's helped thousands grow personal brands and businesses. But what makes this conversation special is we are bringing it home to the deeper why behind it all: fatherhood, impact, and also building a life that outlives your LinkedIn profile. My friend, thank you.
Hey, man, I'm excited to be here.
Yes,
what a
sir.
privilege to come and talk about something so close to my heart.
Beautiful. Thank you, my friend. So like maybe we can, like jump into it. Often you say the visibility beats ability. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because as fathers and founders, how do we move beyond just being seen to actually building the legacy that matters?
Yeah, well, it's always a big question when you include as a father as well.
Right.
But, I think when it comes to business, you could be the best in the world at what you do. You could
Right.
be the best doctor in the world. But if nobody knows about that, then it doesn't matter how good you are. So I don't think it matters how good you are if nobody knows who you are. So visibility is really important. The other stuff's important as well, but none of it matters unless you have some sort of visibility as well. You can't help anyone if you're a doctor and you've got a cure for cancer if nobody knows about it. Now, as a father, see, from my perspective, like when I grew up, I watched my dad get maybe 100, 150 flights a year, and he was out doing business meetings, entertaining clients, networking. And so when I come across the internet and more importantly, social media, I was like, here is a way that you can do all of that without leaving your home. You don't have to leave your family.
Right.
So this is actually an opportunity to keep families closer together. Because if you master social media, you don't need to go fly everywhere and meet people. So as a father, that's really important. Is for me to be there, be around, and I'm able to do that with the type of business that I've set up for myself and the marketing that I'm doing for my clients.
Right.
And one thing that's really cool, right, is like I can't really go online and see what my dad was like when he was in his 30s, right? And see videos of him doing talks and doing interviews like this. It's pretty exciting that our kids will be able to look back at this content and see like this library of, this is what dad was like when he was starting out,
Right.
I think that's really awesome as well.
That is true. Wow, I never thought about that. I think, because sometimes you wish, like my dad is gone. Sometimes I wish I can see him or hear him talk and stuff like that. So I'm missing those opportunities. Like all I have is pictures and stuff like that. So I think this is you're very right. Yeah.
Do you know, I was thinking about starting a podcast, not for public consumption, but literally just for my kids and my sister's kids, and interviewing, like my grandmother's still alive.
Right.
And I could interview her, and
Right.
that would be available for generations. We're thinking about doing that just privately.
Right. Oh, you should do that, my friend. Absolutely. And I think, that wow, that's a good point. I think I should even do the same for my mom as well, because my mom, she's pretty shy. She would not do this. So I think if I could talk to her personally, just at home thing, she could definitely do that. And that is a money wisdom, because these guys, they have so much wisdom, and and it's sad that we're not capturing all of it because we don't spend that time with them as much.
Yeah, I think my grandmother would probably be a little bit uncomfortable on camera, so it might just be audio. But even if it's just audio, I mean,
It's too
Otherwise,
valuable.
it's sort of, because my daughter's only almost 3. She won't remember her great granny when she's older, unless we've got something to remember her by.
Right. Oh man. Thank you so much for sharing. I think this is a smart move. I think we should definitely look into that, and why not? Before it's too late. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. So let's say, if you had to start from zero, how would you do it, my friend? How would you rebuild your business today as a parentpreneur, dadpreneur?
Yeah. Okay. When you say starting from zero, do I know everything I know now?
Most likely, I think that should be the case,
Yeah.
because otherwise you will not be able to really,
Yep. So look, when you're starting from zero, it's a great place to start because it forces you to figure out how to make it work without any money. That's such an important lesson to go through in business. That when people start businesses and they have this money, they just think that's the answer for everything. But it forces you to figure out other ways to grow. So I don't believe you need a business card. You don't need a website. Obviously, you need a business name. And then you just need to figure out on all of these channels that people are hanging out on online, where is my customer spending their time? So another big mistake when people are starting out is they don't decide who their customer is. Well, they're like, oh, well, I could do it for you. I could do it for this guy. I could do it for everyone. And in the old days, that's a good strategy because you only got so many people that you can speak to. But these days, it's the opposite. You really want to be very specific. So it could be as simple as, look, I could do it for all these, nutritionists and life coaches, or I could do it for lawyers and financial advisors.
Right.
I don't really care, but these guys will spend 10 times as much. Okay, well, let's choose them then. And then you find out where they're hanging out. If it's those guys, it's a LinkedIn. And then you create a profile and you start sending them connection requests. And all you do is add value. So you do that through education, entertainment, inspiration, and also stroking and massaging their massive egos, right?
Right.
So posting on their comments on their stuff, and then you're slowly building relationships. And if you're just starting out, the mistake that you want to avoid is pretending that you know it all. If you're starting out, be very honest about that. And when you reach out to a CEO of a financial company, say, hey, I'm just started this business. It's for financial planners. Right. I've created this product. Could you think I could have 15 minutes of your time just to give me some feedback? I'll buy you a coffee. If there's anything I can do for you to repay the favor, I would love to. You go set 10 appointments like that.
Right.
First of all, if your product's not right, they'll tell you how to fix it. Second of all, if your product is right, one of them will probably agree to be a client. Even if you don't charge them anything, even if you say, would you like to trial this with me? I'll do it for free in exchange for you to give me a testimonial. Then you've got a track record. You can go to the financial advisors, look what I did with these guys. And then the other thing I would do is I would think, who else is already serving this client base? So if it's financial advisors, let's say maybe it is maybe somebody, a web company that builds websites for financial advisors. I would approach them and I would say, hey, look, I'm doing this service for financial advisors. You do a different service. Right. I want somebody to refer my clients to. Would you be interested in a partnership? And then you have a meeting with them, and then you say, oh, look, just one of the criteria that I'm looking for, because I'm only looking for one partner, is that you can also refer business to me. Do you think you'd be able to do that? And then they'll start sending you business, even if you don't have any clients yet. Obviously, if you get the opportunity to send them to clients, you do that. But like I did that when I started my company 11 years ago, and I went on Google and I looked for the most popular business coach in Melbourne, because I thought the guy at the top, he would get the most leads. He's probably got the most contacts. Mm-hmm. That guy has sent me clients pretty much every 3 or 4 months for the last 11 years. 11 years. Like you can't buy that sort of referral with marketing because they already trust him and they're like, you're the man. So those are the two things I would do if I was starting from.
Want real results that last? Stop wasting time on quick fixes. A no-fat approach to sustainable fitness, radiant health, and mental well-being is your roadmap to lasting transformation. Learn how to fuel your body, move with joy, and cultivate mental strength, all without the restrictive rules. Start your journey to sustainable success. Download your guide today.
Scratch. I think one of the things that I made a mistake on when I did start my company is I did grow too fast. I had 12 people working for me within 12 months. And I hadn't built up the skill set yet to manage people, and also I was not comfortable firing anyone. I'd never fired anyone. I used to work for other people. So I was like, I'm not going to fire you. I like you. And I had all these people. Basically, I was responsible for paying their salary every month, and they weren't, performing, some of them. And I could only do it for so long. Eventually I didn't have enough money to pay everyone. And then you start losing people, and it becomes very difficult. And I think if I just was a bit more, just did it one step at a time, then it would have been a lot more sustainable. These days, I run a much more leaner ship. I've got my team is contractors, really. So most of it's outsourced. I use a lot of digital technology, and it's more profitable, less stressful. You know,
Absolutely. I think this model also my coach is using the same. He says actually when you have a bigger team, actually even the profit is not that much anymore. So I think in that sense, he prefers the freedom thing.
There's different types of businesses, and this is a new type of business. The one that I'm running it's almost like a practice, like a chiropractor or a psychologist or something, where you are the business, and then you have these people around you that support you. But it's not a business that you can sell, right? Because unless you're going to stay working in it. So, you're not building up an asset that you can sell. So it has to be the profitability has to be quite high, at least 40%, but ideally like 60%, 70% profitability, so that you can afford to, invest in shares or other businesses or real estate, so that you can retire one day.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. Because, you don't want to have, a job. You want to have a business, in a sense, you don't want to be working so much, as if you're really being employed, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm always battling with. But I've sort of come to terms with it, and I'm actually looking at buying a business that it's on the side, which I don't have to work in, just so I can build it up and sell it. Because my whole career, all I've done is build other people's businesses. So I get paid a fee to do it, but I don't get a percentage of the upside. So it'd be fun to do something where I'm actually an owner,
Right, absolutely. I think do that. I think there's some people that have multiple exits, but then I think, like you said, you can start it and you keep it, and then later on, if you're on an exit, great, but you want to be, having that percentage of it, for the rest of your life as well, you and the kids and everybody.
That's right. I mean, when you have kids, right, you start thinking about these things. I didn't cross my mind before I had a daughter.
There you go.
I'll work forever.
Oh man, I know. It's something. That's why we are doing all this for them. Not only us but for them as well, because we want to leave them comfortable. And so there's a lot to learn. I appreciate you, my brother. So, what really works right now on LinkedIn? There's so much going on. There's so many gurus, people saying, you should do this, you should do that, So there's so much, if you're trying to follow a lot of people, it can be confusing, So what's really working at the moment?
Well, for the first thing is the shortcuts are gone. To be successful on LinkedIn, it's going to take an investment of your time. Whether you're hiring somebody like me or not, you're still going to have to invest time in it. You can't just send out automation and expect that to work anymore. And to be honest, it should not be easy. We've had it really easy for the last, because when things are new, you can growth hack the system. And what the biggest thing people need to pay attention to right now on the internet, on social media, offline, is AI. It's going to completely transform every single industry. Like, we've all been disrupted by the internet already. Now it's going to be AI. And you've got to look at it and say, is the answer for me to learn AI and create more content faster than everyone else, like create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content, is that going to get me the result I want? So let's look at the result you want. You want to grow your business. How do you grow a business? Well, you do it by making sales. How do you make sales? You build relationships. So really what we're trying to do is build relationships. And you build relationships by having conversations, not conversations with robots, conversations with real people, right? So while everyone's creating more content faster, the content is actually becoming perfect. It's like it's written absolutely perfect, which we always were taught in school. You got to get your grammar right. That's a perfect. You spelt that wrong. So everyone's like, oh wow, that's perfect. I'll post exactly that, and 70% of people are doing that, and so they're all the same. 70% of them. So if you choose to lead into your human side and be authentic, you don't have to share 100 pieces of content. You could share 2 pieces of content a week, but they're authentic and they're real and there's something that AI can't replicate. All of a sudden, you're different than 70% of people posting, right? And that's how you build a personal brand. You can't fit in and stand out at the same time. You have to, you do one or the other. So if you want to stand out, you've got to lean into your personal brand, your human side, be more authentic. The biggest AI hack there is don't use it. So you're still going to have to put the work in. You're still going to have to be consistent. Right. But and look, I don't get me wrong. I do use AI for certain tasks, but I'm very much aware that what is working is human. So that has to be the primary focus of it. If people are new to content marketing, and I tell them, make it human, write it yourself, then get AI to check it. Or if I mention AI at all, they're just going to go, wow, I'll just get AI to do everything because I don't know how to do this. But the problem is they're not learning anything. They're not learning any feedback from their audience. So you want to build authentic connections. If you use AI to create your content, AI to message people, AI to comment on their profiles, you're not building a real relationship with anyone. Right? You might get a few sales from it. You might get a few people through your funnel and they'll buy from you. But long term, they're not going to stay with you because there's no real relationship there. Whereas if they speak to a human and I actually get to know them, get to know their names of their kids, like actually get to know them personally, those are the sort of relationships that, you can rely on to be there for a long time. And so I think that's the most important thing that, in the last 10 years, the most important thing on social media has been trust. It's always been trust. That hasn't changed. It's actually just become more important. So that's what I think's overarching the most important thing that people need to pay attention right now.
Does it turn you off when you see people's posts like, this is from Gemini, this is from ChatGPT? Like when you see that, most likely fine, they created the initial idea and then they modified it and make it pretty with the AI. But, I think like you mentioned, almost everybody now looks the same, so, I
don't care what Gemini has to say. I only care what he has to say. So if it's written by AI, I'm not gonna bother reading it. Like, not on social media. It's social media. Like this is not an email. If it was an email, I'd read it. But social media is a cocktail party. It's not a sales conference. So if you're at a cocktail party, and you hey, I'm the AI robot for someone. Like I don't want to hang out with you all night.
Absolutely, yes. I've been enjoying. For me, it's been a game changer lately. Like I have my comments here and there, and like you see, like he's different, this person, and he's very hard. I think this is one thing I'm gonna ask you for is how, from content to confidence. Like I'm jumping a little bit because sometimes we have this imposter syndrome. You worry like how you worry about how you sound, what you say, and stuff like that because it's the public. Yeah. How did you deal with that, my friend, to like stay consistent?
Yeah, it's very difficult. Like it's so when my daughter was born, I took a break from posting on social media. Like I was just do it like once every 2 weeks for 6 months, and 6 months really stretched into about a year and a half. And when I come back to it to start posting again, that imposter syndrome creeped in. I was like, oh my God, there's all these other LinkedIn coaches on there. Oh, they're getting like 1,000 comments. I'm like, oh, I need to make this perfect. And like, I would like write something valuable, but it's not perfect. So then it would sit there in my my saved documents, and sometimes it would sit there for months. And the thing is, like, it's not adding any value to people in my documents folder, right? So the thing is, and this is something that, like, I would watch my old videos and I would have to coach myself, because it's like, you're letting it being perfect get in the way of it being good enough. Like, if it's good enough, just post it. You know, you can always post another one tomorrow. If it's a terrible post, no one's going to see it because it won't get any engagement. So who cares? And so the way around it is, to answer your question, is to take action. Like, it is literally to take massive action and just dump stuff on the platform. I met Grant Cardone maybe 5 years ago, and I did an interview with him. And I said, dude, you're like posting 6 times a day, 7 times a day. How, on every platform? I'm like, how do you like manage that? I understand you have a team and everything, but how do you manage that quality control? And he said, dude, he's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I just dump shit on the platform. I'm like, do a video here, send it, do a video. Like he's just like, his words were, dump it on the platform, just dump it on the platform, just dump. And he's grown millions of followers like that. And I think that today it's probably worse than ever. It's like, we're all just want it to be perfect because we're worried about what other people think. The times when I've been most successful on social media is when I have not given what people think. Right. Like, that's, and it's hard. You just got to take action, and sometimes that means just pressing post and then just walking away. But it's not like it's not normal for us to worry so much about what other people think. It's the way we were trained at school, and that's the thing we've got to overcome. But it's look, if you do get controlled by what other people think, you will end up living your life for other people, because you will just end up doing what they want you to do, or they expect you to do, or what you think looks cool in their eyes, and you'll never ever be truly fulfilled. You'll never ever do anything that you really want to do, and you'll be miserable. And if you're going to settle for that's on you, man. Like, that's fine. But the way to actually grow as a human being is to face these challenges head on and take action.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you. I think, this is very important, because, like, the imposter syndrome, actually, it happens to everybody, like, even the people that you think they're professional, whatever, there's no such thing.
Absolutely. There's always someone better than you. Like, so you can always compare yourself to, like, there are people that are a lot better at content than me. And if I spend all my time comparing myself to them, I'm going to feel like I'm not worthy to be here, not worthy to teach anyone anything. But you've got to look at where you come from, man. Like, I mean, if I saw where I was now 20 years ago, I would be like, wow, that's incredible, So it just depends what you focus on.
That is true. Thank you so much. So I know we have touched upon a little bit about how, like you say, just do it, pretty much, just effing do it. This is the way to have that authenticity as well, because you're not really worrying about this or that. This is exactly what happened, so I'm giving you raw, But anyway, so the thing is, how can we really, now we have this competition with, like in, between us and the AI, and also being human and authentic, and also trying to scale fast, because to scale, that's when AI comes in handy, right? So how do we balance that? Because sometimes, I mean, I guess it can be handy more or less, like when you're trying to create that awareness, so you can use all these this automation and stuff like that. But then you definitely still have to put that humanity in terms of bonding with your clients. But anything else you suggest, my brother?
Yeah, look, I think it's the same as having a employee. Like, it's a resource, it's a tool, and so you have to set the tool up for success. And if you get your personal branding nailed, and you know who you are, and you know what you stand for, and you know what you won't accept, you know who you serve, who you won't serve, then it's very easy to delegate that to AI, because it's just like delegating to a team member. The advantage for businesses is AI will not cost as much as a human, right? You could have a lot of them, and they could do things a lot quicker. But it's the same principle. Like you have to train them, and you have to set expectations, and you have to tell them exactly what to do. You cannot blame AI if it makes mistakes because you didn't give it the right instructions. And so you don't want to launch into doing all this stuff until you know exactly what your value proposition is and who you target. And unfortunately, a lot of businesses think they know that, but they don't know it. Like, it's not dialed in enough. Like, I want you to know who your ideal client is, down to their age, how many kids they've got, where they go to school, what magazines they read. Like, really understand it, so that if you're writing a post to them, you're not writing, "Hi everybody." You're writing to that person. You know,
100%.
And then it's very easy to delegate to AI. I have to say though, I don't think it's there yet. Like, in terms of like the AI agents, even the video editing, like it's not quite at the standard that it needs to be. So I'm hesitant, because the mistake you can make is doing too much at once. Like, if I look at all the AI technologies out there, they all sound amazing, right? But like, I could easily just like get 50 of them, and then I'm spending all my time, there's a new tool here, there's a new tool here. And like, before I know it, I'm actually not focusing on what really matters. So I keep my eye on it, but I'm very conscious not to spend too much time on it, because when it's ready, I'll know about it. You know.
There you go. Oh man, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I know folks who are really concerned. The people that were working in customer service, they're thinking, "Oh, my job is going to be taken." Now, even folks that are, let's say, they're studying to do editing and stuff, they worry, like, "Oh, what a second, AI is creating these shorts and stuff like that." But you can still smell it, like, "Oh, no, this is not done by a human," because it's not really all that perfect. Because whatever that is done by a person, you can see it. That it's really neat. Like, you see, I still see the difference. You know what I mean?
Well, that will change. Like, the AI will get smarter, and it will. I mean, it's already, like, they just haven't rolled it out yet. Like, it's more intelligent than a human being by a long shot. But and creativity is what they've been working on recently. It will be more creative than humans for sure. But what will happen is, like, when they start being creative, is like, you're going to go to if you're going to go to like a art gallery or something, people will pay a premium if they know that all that art is by real people. Like, it's going to be, there's going to be opportunity with every challenge. And even video editing, like, it's like, we're going to watch this movie, it was made by a human. Like, that's exciting. Like, wow, a human made that. So like, I think those things will be a premium. Because what most people are going to do, most people who are studying video editing right now, they're going to go to themselves, "I need to be a master at AI, so it doesn't take my job, so I can control AI, and then I can do more." And that is true. Like, most people are going to need to do that, but there's going to be a few people that are going to be like really artistic geniuses. They're going to be like, no, I'm going to learn to do it, and they'll create these like masterpieces, right? Not all of them, but that's where the top of the industry will be the human beings that didn't decide to use AI and decided to use their own creative genius, because that's something that we can actually sit down and appreciate, because it wasn't made by a robot.
That's right. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you. My friend, I know we can still, we can talk more and more, but so far what we have spoken about has given us a good clarity, because right now there are so much things, there's so much that is going on that is, so sometimes people are losing hope, and I'm hoping that we have shared good information that will somehow like inspire folks to continue doing what they're doing and not worry much about AI and everything else.
Yeah. What do you think most dads in your audiences are struggling with?
Absolutely. So right now, I believe is mostly they worry about. Okay, so at first it's been like, okay, my kids, how are they gonna grow up? Because we had this big situation before Trump, the whole he, she, and stuff like that, like the gender issue. That was a big situation. Now is being resolved and stuff like that. Like slowly. But that was that. And then another thing now is really the employment. Like a lot of times, most parents, they realize that they don't have time for themselves. And also they don't have much time with their family, whether it's wife or kids. Or sometimes we have single parents as well, and they're struggling, like with that bonding with the kids. So so those are the main challenges I'm noticing. I don't know, like is it a big thing over there, like in terms of
huge
sleeping? A lot of doctors and people from different backgrounds, they're struggling with sleep.
Yeah. I mean, sleep's a luxury, right? So it's like, we all want the best for our kids, and I think that's beautiful. Like, it gives you a purpose that you didn't have before, and they're watching everything you do. There's a couple of things though, like a lot of, you've got to be careful not to give away accountability. Like, they're your kids. Yes, the world, like education is going to try and teach them stuff, and the news is going to try and teach them, but they're your kids. Like, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. You can tell them they can't watch TV. You can tell them that, you could homeschool them if you really wanted to. My daughter is disabled. She's got cerebral palsy, and she has to do a lot of therapy just to be able to talk and walk. And it's not at the same level as other kids, but she naturally, since the age of 1, wants to do it. Like, she will get up every day and try her hardest at this therapy, and she'll.
Tired of fads and frustration? Build sustainable wellness for life. Forget quick fixes that fail to deliver lasting results. Imagine feeling energized, moving confidently, and radiating health for years. Achieving true wellness isn't about exhaustion or deprivation. It's about building habits that fit seamlessly into your life. Invest in yourself today for lasting fitness, radiant health, and mental well-being. Ready to transform your life? Click here to learn more. By purchasing the book, you'll gain lifetime access to updates, newsletters, future editions, and exclusive wellness bonuses from the author. Start your journey to wellness now.
Stand up, and she'll fall down, and she'll do it again, stand up and fall down. And I'm so proud, because that's what we want for our kids, is just for them to try their hardest. And I think we've got to be careful not to underestimate our kids, because they're growing up in this world. They're the ones that are going to figure it out. Put your faith in your children. They will figure out how to survive in the world in the future. They're going to know how to do it better than us, because they grew up in it, right? They'll be showing us how to survive.
Man, I'm telling you, that is true. And and it's very easy sometimes. We say, okay, we have to give them the freedom to do things, so that when we're not around, they can have the resilience and stuff like that. But in reality, when when you're with them, we correct them so much and stuff like that, until you worry about their confidence. Like, wait a second, they might doing too much. You know what I mean?
100%. Like, all I ever wanted when I was growing up, it wasn't for my dad to give me $1 million when he died. Like that, all I wanted was for him to say to me, "I believe in you. You can do this." That's it. Because it's way more rewarding to do it yourself. Yeah,
that's a big deal. Yes, sir. Oh man, you're right. Because I remember also, like, maybe I can share this one. Like, my dad was telling me how, like, the fact that I was doing the risk taking. Like, I'm trying to leave my country to America by myself. With the $1,000 in my pocket. He was telling me how that was very, like a bold move. And he was really proud of it. And that gave me more energy, That's
such a good moment. Good on your dad for saying that, because a lot of parents would be like worried and concerned, but he put his faith in you, and you can handle it. You just it's really helpful to have someone that believes in you.
Man, so we need to do that. I think that's one of my homework, because, I'm still like, I believe these kids, I tell them and everything, but then sometimes that father had of like protective and stuff and do this and, like almost, being hard on them. I need to definitely got to fix that. Yes.
we're all in the same boat, brother. We've got to work on it.
Oh my goodness. Yes, sir. And,
but that's amazing.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you. I was really happy to have. It's very funny. Those are the moments you remember. That one, and there was another one where, in Tanzania, when you finish advanced level, because it's a bridge system. I think you do have the same system, right? It's a bridge, like education system. So from primary, secondary school, from secondary school, there's a high school, which is advanced level, we call it. And then you go to medical university. So medical universities, there were not many. So to get into it, it was. But my dad was telling me, like, by the way, this is after the test and everything. Like he told me, don't worry, even if you don't make it, I will support you with private. I'm like, for me, it was a big deal. I was like, wow, So now I realize, really,
that's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you. So we need to really, apply these things because you don't know how long you're going to be around. So take that moment to kind of, encourage people, give them their flowers, whether it's your wife or your kids, because, look at me. That's what I'm left with,
But there's this really important point that you made there about, your relationship with your dad, because it's like, I believe in you. You can do this, but if it doesn't work out, I'll be here anyway,
Yes, sir.
It's powerful.
Thank you, my brother. So I guess before we go, is there any, in terms of legacy, or like your future mentees and stuff like that, if they were watching all your videos 10 years from now, which is funny how we're just speaking about how they'll be watching our videos, right? So is there anything, what's the message that you want, you truly hope that they live by? So I put you on the spot, my brother.
No, because I think people forget that, business is about service, and it's about adding value, and so that comes from a place of caring. Like if you want to make $100 million, you need to care an awful lot about humanity and be of service. And I think that kindness and caring is underrated, especially in business. Like as soon as people get to work, like that goes out the window. And especially when people are behind a keyboard, they lose all their empathy. But at the end of the day, like you'll get more value out of life if you focus on giving rather than what you're getting back. And it actually in business, like if you focus on what you're delivering and giving, then the other side should take care of itself. Like you might have to change the structure a little bit, but when I've ever been in a stage in business where I'm like, oh shit, we're having a really bad month. As soon as it's normally because I'm focused on me. As soon as I shift my focus from me to my customer, and I'm like, oh, what's going on with them? Like, what are you struggling with at the moment? Oh, maybe I could do this to help you. Like, that's where the opportunities are. Business is about adding value, so add more value than anyone else, and that takes a mindset that is about giving, not about taking. And I think that's going to apply in 10 years' time, and I think it's going to be really important for our kids to learn.
Thank you. And this is one of those very important, it's something that is very important for people to know once they enter entrepreneurship or business, because sometimes we have that mindset of like, oh man, I'm losing, but then because you're thinking about yourself, this is a very good mindset shift that people need to have it so that they can really, be successful, because like when you're helping people, that's the success, and a lot of times, like when you're aiming to help more people, and, that's how this, like it comes back to you. This is amazing, brother.
And you have to have boundaries there, because if you do everything for free, you can only help. Yeah. Let's say you help 20 people, but then what do you do after that? If you want to help a lot of people and you want to add more value, you're going to have to charge them money. So it's an ecosystem. Like if you're charging somebody $5,000, you can add $5,000 worth of value, or maybe $10,000, but you can add a certain amount.
Right.
If you want to add more value, double your prices. Charge them $10,000. Then you can afford to give them more value. So it needs to be an ecosystem. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is very important because a lot of times, we think that okay, time is money, and so we end up charging, but then really time is all you got. So if the value
it's just value, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if the value is up there, you should not worry about the pricing and such, because a lot of times people, they worry about that because their value is not there, So
man, like if they just want their problem solved, that's why somebody like Tony Robbins can charge $1 million a year for coaching, and he only meets you once,
right?
Because he knows that he can make a small change in your life, and if you're like a billionaire, that change will be worth a fortune to you. So it's just about value. That's a big mistake. You never sell if you're in business, don't sell your time, sell value. Don't charge by the hour, charge by the value you're providing.
Thank you. And and the people that do not understand that, they should not be your clients, because for instance, if I can, let's say, if I can offer you $1 million, now, and then but tomorrow you're not going to be around, you will not want that money, right? You know what I mean?
No.
So see like the relativity that like if I'm not going to be alive tomorrow, this money is not worth it. So that means my time is 100%. Way more important. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's why people will spend so much. The medical industry is like the biggest industry out there, because none of this shit matters if you get sick, right? So people will pay anything to save their life of themselves or someone they love. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, brother. So truly appreciate you, my friend. You have to all our listeners, if you have got value today, please share this with a dad or any parent or any digital builder in your life, because there's so many online creators nowadays, and please share that with them. And if you're ready to scale your story, income, and legacy with intention, check out Dad Puzzle Scale Mastery Framework. And remember, being visible is great, but being valuable is what really leaves a legacy. So we have to keep building. And my friend, how can people find you, my brother?
LinkedIn, Nathanial Bibby, YouTube, Instagram, Nat Bibby, if you want to see behind the scenes dad life, Instagram.
Right. Absolutely, yes.
You can find me everywhere on the internet, man. And yeah, more than welcome to reach out. Let me know that you found me through Dad Puzzles, and I'll be more than happy to connect with you.
My friend, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. Guys, until next time, please don't forget to subscribe and follow my good friend. Thank you. Awesome. So I stopped.
Thanks for listening to Dad Puzzles. We hope you learned something from today's podcast. Please leave us a review and give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our mailing list and YouTube channel. Plus follow and like our Instagram and Facebook pages, or any social media of your choice. You can also visit dadpuzzles.com for more resources that will help ease you into your parenthood journey. Thanks again for listening to Dad Puzzles.